Hello, Boxi. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Rosesa. I would like to ask you a few questions regarding your performance at Team Liquid, especially during DPC as well as towards the international. So, first of all, for recapping the DPC League, you were finished at first place on 2 DPC, and correct me if I'm wrong, was on top 3 or top 4 at the other one, as well as runner-up, 3 consecutive runner-up at a major. So, my question is gaming gladiators very strong on those majors, so you and Team Liquid were not able to conquer them in the finals?
I think every major that we played have been like once you reach the grand finals, teams are better and the competition is harder. I would say the online DPC leagues, in comparison, people still try as hard, but it's like earlier in the season and are less experienced and stuff, and people have taken breaks, so it's a little easier, the online DPC. It's not as cutthroat, I would say. When it comes to us versus gaming, I mean, we beat them in the DPC, but I feel like they always turn up when it's a grand final, and the DPC doesn't really have finals in that way. It's just, you play like seven teams one time and then you're done. So I think in the DPC we've done well, and maybe the lack of pressure due to it being like an online group stage basically has helped us out a bit. I'm not really sure. But I think grand finals of the major is like completely different, and no matter if it's gaming or any other team, I'm sure like the competition will be much tougher there than.
Okay. This also includes your participation at DreamLeague Season 19, where you were finished at second place, and also Riyadh Masters, the last tournament other than DPC, you were finished on the second place. Were there any different pressures between those tournaments, since it's out of DPC League?
Sorry, any different pressures at Riyadh and DreamLeague, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that at Riyadh maybe the pressure was a bit higher, since the DPC League, we knew pretty early on that we were already qualified for TI.
Yeah.
And then you're not playing for that much more other than the DPC points. But at Riyadh, it was a bigger tournament with a bigger prize pool. So I guess there was a little more pressure. I would also say that we really had to put in a lot of effort for Riyadh to get as far as we did. And for sure, like it was just not another like, oh, we got second place at a major. Like I know maybe at some DPCs or some majors at least the last one in Bali, we already qualified and we still tried, but we didn't put our entire passion and heart into it. And I think at Riyadh we really tried, and I think it was more pressure due to how hard we had to work to get to the point we were, and it was also nice to play a different team than Gladiators. So we were like, alright guys, this is our shot, Our mortal enemies have been eliminated, and we're gonna do it, and we did it.
Okay.
So, but I think that was extra hype. Yeah.
Okay. And also speaking of upcoming DreamLeague Season 21, where you will play with Team Liquid on Group A with 9 Pandas, NTT, Shopify, Talon, and Tundra. Is it Group of Hell for you, or is it the other groups are the Hell one?
I think the other group looked significantly more scary, and that's of course. I wouldn't judge only by the team strengths, but how we match up against certain teams. And I think we've always matched pretty well against some teams in our group, and we've matched less well against, for example, Betum, Spirit, and Gaming, which are in the other group. So I'm happy with our group, and I think even objectively, I'm sure our group is on paper, based on previous results, a little bit weaker, but you never know.
Yeah. Exactly. And also speaking of the current patch that will apply on the DreamLeague Season 21, what do you think about the current patch that happening, especially for your role as a support? What is the most comfort hero that will give a big impact on this patch on this tournament?
It's a little weird because they keep releasing really small patches that adjust things, and now I'm sure they're done, But some heroes, like for example, Vengeful Spirit was really strong, and I think Earth Spirit was really strong. But now maybe Earth Spirit is not played position 4 as much because he also got nerfed. I guess my point is that it's changed so much that it's gonna be like this upcoming week to kind of really establish a set hero pool. Because when it's not necessarily only my heroes that get changed, but when the best heroes get changed or moved around, then what you respond to them with also changes. But I have some heroes that I like, but it's very different from, let's say, the comparative meta to last TI. I was only playing Tusk and Cloak and melee heroes. And I'll tell you right now that I'm very rarely playing those types of heroes now, and it's more like the ranged position force and the spellcasters and stuff. So it's very different, and I don't know. It's too early to say for sure, but I think that's how it's gonna be. That like the offlaner is melee and like fat, he's tanky, and the position 4 is like a range caster, and you're just trying to, I don't know, you're trying to get level 6 and you're trying to blast some dudes. Yeah.
And also, the upcoming tournament after this DreamLeague will be the I12, which will be held in Seattle. There will be a different group stage other than last year or previous event. What do you think about the group stage format and that we call the road to the international?
I remember reading it and thinking, oh, this is different, but I don't remember exactly how it is. Can you?
Yeah, there will be, if I remember correctly, there will be 5 group of 4.
Oh yeah. No, I think it's a little weird. Maybe they do this in other sports, but I think like because you're eliminated if you're at the bottom of the group, right, or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think you might just play like two games and then one tiebreaker and you're out, and that can be a little scary. But at the same time, I think the group stage at last TI were like really big, and we had to play a shit ton of group stage games. And after a while, you notice that like some teams that are in the top of the group, they're gonna be upper bracket no matter what. Even if they lose their next like 3 matches, they're in upper bracket. And it becomes a little weird when a team that's already like guaranteed qualified is playing a team that's like on the verge of elimination, because you know maybe they don't have to try as hard because they're already qualified and yada. So I think the group stages with 10 teams are too big, but it's also sad to see teams go with barely any games played, because maybe you just had a bad day and maybe like you could have gone much further with a second chance. Yeah. But it'll be fun to have something new. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, apologize. It actually the phase 1 will be 4 group of 5, and there will be phase 2 will be the last chance, or maybe
Yeah.
Exciting.
No, but I mean I think it will be fun to have something new. But it's sad to see teams go with like a small amount of games played. Yeah.
So as we mentioned that you finished as second at 3 consecutive majors, including the latest one at Bali Major, which also you play at the Southeast Asia. One of my friends told me that, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've mentioned that you when you play in SEA, it looks like hell. So what is the
No,
reason?
I mean the Dota is hectic. I wouldn't say that it looks like, I would say it's more like you're in Dota hell, and I kind of like it. But it's I don't know. I think Southeast Asia itself, like the nature and Bali, it was super nice, and everyone was super nice. But specifically in Dota, there's a lot of people just yelling random shit, and somebody opens their mic and they're like at a internet cafe, and people are screaming in the background, and it's just like this battlefield you're on. But it's fun. I think it has a lot of soul and like passion from the players, but it's very different experience than playing in Europe. And there's a lot of people who will all shout out GG, screw you, I'm destroying my items and stuff, and then they're still playing, and everyone just does it all the time. It's like people refuse to give up, but they keep saying they're gonna give up all the time.
Okay. So is it harder to play in SEA, or is it harder to play in Western Europe instead?
I mean, I'm used to the Western Europe experience, right? So I kind of know like how people are and what to expect. In Southeast Asia, I feel like people are just grouping up and just fighting like all the time. There's 5 people, each team is like for 30 minutes. I have a little hard time coping with that because I think that's not how I'm used to playing, and especially if I open my microphone and I'm like, "Shut up, Boxi," then it's like I don't know. No, people were nice, and a lot of people were very respecting towards me. But this is funny, and the people are just yelling and just fighting, and I don't know.
And also, since you joined Team Liquid since 2019, where the previous one was currently at Team Galaxy, I read on the history that Team Liquid has never achieved the first place other than the DPC League itself, including the international as the 3rd place. So is there any pressure on yourself regarding the history, saying that you never finished first at the major stage or the international?
The thing is that we won one ESL Germany online during COVID. But I've never won a LAN. Well, I won Beyond the Summit, but anyway, that was with Alliance. I've never won a major Dota LAN, in my career, and that's something that I really want to accomplish. Hopefully TI, but a major would also be great. But the thing is that I think our results have like steadily been going up all the time. And last year we definitely didn't get second 5 times.
Yeah.
And then we got third at TI, and I'm not saying necessarily that will be the most consistent team and will always win tournaments from now on. But I mean that it's a certain sense of confidence to know that we've always been getting better, and to not like fret too much about no, we never won anything, blah blah blah, can we do it? It's more like you have to be realistic and realize we maybe have some things we need to work on, but it's always been getting better, and I think that's what's important for me, to see like a path forward and to know that you're making progress in something you spend your whole life and every waking hour on.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 last questions, if you don't mind, Boxi.
No.
First question will be, how important mental health for a Dota 2 player from your POV?
I would say that it's really, really important, but it's not something that you realize until maybe you get a little bit older. And I think a lot of things tie into mental health, like how well you take care of your physical self and your body, and how well you sleep and eat and stuff will help out with your state of mind and mindset. I would say that for me, speaking from my experience, I usually, I don't get too tilted, or I don't get negatively affected by pressure, but my mental health can still be problematic, even if like the toxicity aspect is not a problem. It's more like how much energy you have and how well your mind feels to be able to put so much effort and thought into like the very difficult task of trying to win a tournament. And I think when I was younger, it became a little bit neglected at times, and I would spend a lot of days just playing Dota and maybe not taking breaks, and the classic playing 12 games a day in the you're like in the shithole. It doesn't feel good, and it's not productive either.
Yeah.
And I think for me it's way better to be able to reflect on the games you play, and to like take a step back and take breaks and try and like focus on the bigger picture and your own like mental and physical well-being, and realize that like if you're getting upset or if something's bothering you, you like deal with it, or you take a break, or you like try and really not get into this like circle of just playing a lot of Dota and no matter how it goes, I'm just gonna keep playing and I need to win or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's really important, and a lot of people should really like consider the way they treat computer games and Dota and make sure that they actually feel good while playing.
One last question as we close this interview. Is there anything that you want to say to your fans, Team Liquid fans, and anyone in Indonesia specifically, if you don't mind?
And Indonesia specifically?
Yeah,
well,
I'm from Indonesia actually.
I can start with that Indonesia was super nice when we were there for Bali Major, and everyone I met was really nice and helpful, and I had a very good experience there. So I would love to go back to Indonesia, maybe just on vacation if there's no Dota tournament. So props to Indonesia, and also a lot of good food. I probably had nasi goreng like 25 times.
Oh my god, that's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. And then as always, I'm very thankful to everyone that watches Dota 2 tournaments and goes to the tournaments and supports on Twitter or in my Twitch chat or whatever. People are always very happy to meet me in real life, and it's nice to see a lot of people that are enthusiastic about the game and the thing we all commonly love. And also big thanks to our sponsors and to Team Liquid, and
Okay.
everyone in Dota scene. Thank you.
Okay. It is a pleasure to talk with you, Boxi. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck for DreamLeague and TI. Be happy as always. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.